Unless you are standing for the truth, God can't use you. And what I'm telling you, brothers and sisters, we are in a crisis, and you better stand for the truth. You can't hide and serve God. Continue. It all makes sense in the light of Satan's ultimate objectives. What better plan could he have devised than to dilute the spiritual standard slowly by worldly wedges of compromise that grew bigger and bigger? At the same time, Satan exploited the fears of many against fanaticism and legalism, causing a radical swing toward grace only. Grace only. The finished work of the cross and a downplay of sanctification. Some ministers were caught up in the trend and were conditioned to accept new members for baptism without the fruits of full obedience. Now I'm going to read something to you. I'm going to go to Testimonies, volume 5, page 172. I told you to get your books. We are studying it. I'm not preaching, we are studying. It's time for us, brothers and sisters, to study the Word of God. Testimonies, volume 5, page 172. Now you see, I have so read this book to volume 1, page 172 is completely torn out. Let me read what it says here. Look what the prophet says. The accession of members who have not been renewed in heart and reformed in life is a source of weakness to the church. This fact is often ignored. Some ministers and churches are so desirous of securing an increase in numbers that they do not bear faithful testimony against unchristian habits and practices. Those who accept the truth are not taught that they cannot safely be worldlings in conduct while they are Christians in name. Heretofore, they were Satan's subjects. Henceforth, they are to be subjects of Christ. The life must testify to the change of leaders. Public opinion favors a profession of Christianity. A little self-denial or self-sacrifice is required in order to put on a form of godliness and to have one's name enrolled upon the church books. Hence, many join the church without first becoming united to Christ. And that's what we have done, brothers and sisters. We have allowed Satan to bring into the church unconverted members that know nothing about the message that God has given us as a people. And during this series, brothers and sisters, I intend by the grace of God to make you well aware of who we are as Seventh-day Adventists. Now I'm going to bring this little introductory DVD to a close, and we will pick right up here at the next one. Let me continue with a statement from Elder Cruz here. The pastor was led to a grace-only stand, the finished work of the cross, and a downplay of sanctifications. Some ministers were caught up in the trend and were conditioned to accept new members for baptism without the fruits of full obedience. Under the influence of these unconverted ones and a worldly oriented membership, the church was not prepared to cope with this explosive impact of the new theology, especially since it filtered through the weekly sermons of numerous young advocates of the divergent views. We will pick right up here at our next session, brothers and sisters. This is just an introduction. Again, I want to say we thank God for the opportunity to stand before these cameras and present to you truths. I encourage you to go and study the Word of God. Saints, I encourage you to share this information with others. We still have a few items that we are going to be, that's still coming to make this center complete. It's not yet complete, but it will be complete in a little bit. Again, we want to thank you for all that you have done, all that you will do. We urge you to continue. Now that we're up and going, we need you to help us to keep going. I want to tell you that there will be a camp meeting this year. This will be our second annual camp meeting in Dayton, Tennessee, August the 8th through August the 12th. You will be getting some literature in the mail concerning this. Saints, Jesus is soon to come. But there's an event that has to take place before Jesus comes. The event that will separate the wheat from the tares in this church. We pick up at our next session, brothers and sisters. We will deal with this in detail. We're going to go through Revelation, the 12th chapter, verse by verse. I'm just excited because I have so much to share with you of things that are happening around us, just so very much, brothers and sisters. Also, we will be having an open house. We will let you know when that open house is going to take place. Hope you've enjoyed the progress of this building that God has brought into reality from its very beginning when God first gave me the idea of doing this. It's a miracle that we are now standing here to do exactly what God said do. And many of you are going to be involved in this project as the time goes on. God needs a people now that's ready to go to work. And I want to, as in closing, God is making cuts. You know, in the sports, particularly in football, there are 3 cuts. In the spring training, they bring out all kinds of people come out to try out for the team. Not long before they found out most of them can't play in football. So I hate to make the analogy of sports because we should not be involved in sports, but I'm making this analogy. But first cut takes place. They send them home. Then they have what is known as the second cut. They practice and they do all kinds, they run and can do everything. And then they have a second cut.